RIZIN実況アナウンサーの鈴木芳彦です。今回は RIZIN42 有明アリーナ大会に参戦するファンアーチュレッタ選手のインタビューを行うんですが、その前にですね、アーチュレッタ選手が参戦することになったわけ、そしてまた経緯などについて、RIZINマッチメーカーのチャーリー柏木さんにお話を伺いたいと思います。よろしくお願いいたします。
よろしくお願いします。
結構早いタイミングでまた大晦日からですよ、はい、4ヶ月、5ヶ月くらいですかね、はい、アーチュレッタ選手がまた参戦することになったっていうのは驚きなんですけれども、
はい、これはですね、もう本人の強い希望と、はい、あとはタイミングですね。もうタイミングがバッチリあったので、今この、タイミングでアーチュレッタ選手の参戦、そしておそらく年内継続参戦可能だと思います。
じゃあ今回だけじゃなくて、はい、また今後もRIZINのリングで見られる可能性がある。
そうですね、そもそも次の試合の勝者が7月にタイトルマッチと、
そうですよ
という流れを、本当に見えないトーナメントがまさにこの日に行われているということなので、事実上の準決勝ですよね。
そういうことですよね、はい、対戦相手がですね、バンタム級ファイターたちが数多くいる中で井上直樹選手になったんですけれども、はい、このカードが組まれたのはどうしてですか。
このタイミングですね。4名いる中で、はい、アーチュレッタ選手、甲斐選手、1回戦でやってもよかったんですが、そうなると、井上選手と本谷選手、はいがもうすでにやっている部分がマッチメアップされてしまいますし、井上選手対、朝倉選手を組んで本谷選手、アーチュレッタ選手でもよかったんですが、もろもろな流れとかを考えると、今のマッチメイクが一番盛り上がるんじゃないかなという。
確かにすっきりするマッチメイクになりましたよね。
そうですね。
このアーチュレッタ選手ってもともとチャンピオンじゃないですか、ベラトーの、はい、その元チャンピオンがRIZINに参戦することに対してはスコット・コーカー代表はどういうふうに言ってるんですか。
さっきも言いましたけど、やっぱタイミングなんですよ。というのも今ベラトールってバンタム級グランプリやってるじゃないですか、はい、グランプリは常にそのトーナメントのチャンピオンをかけた試合をやっているので、はい、アーチュレッタ選手は残念ながらそこから今一線を退いてしまったので、スコット・コーカーらしても元チャンピオンとはいえ、今のストーリーからちょっと遅れてしまったので、なかなか使い道がないと、現実的な話なんですよ。その時に本人の希望もあり、で我々との向き合いもあり、いろんなタイミングが良かったので、スコット・コーカーとしてもありがとうございます、ぜひお願いしますという形に。
そうなんですね。ここで柏木さんが知るアーチュレッタ選手の意外な一面ってありますか。
僕は意外と思ったんですけど、ものすごいやっぱファイトスタイルが堅実ですよね。でこれもなぜ思ったのかというと、大晦日の大会を振り返って全試合見てたんですけれども、解説が入ってないバージョンを聞いてるとですね、セコンドの指示がすごい聞こえてくるんですよね。アーチュレッタのセコンドの声がとにかく堅実で、本当にポジションキープの指示なんですよ。でそれは間違ってないんですよ。間違ってないんです。アーチュレッタ本人はもっと派手なことがしたいんですが、セコンドからするとそこでリスクを負うよりかはもっと堅実にポジションでやりなさいっていう指示をすごい言ってる。本人は派手なことやりたいんだけども、それをちゃんと聞いてそれをちゃんと実行できるこの冷静さですね。いや素晴らしいと思います。
なるほど。
だからある意味本当怖いですね。あんまりそう言われても多分キングオブザケージやってる時の方がもっと大味な試合してたんじゃないかなと思いますが、本当に最近の試合見てると堅実で、本当に勝ち方をよく知ってる、
勝率の高い戦い方をするん
じゃないかなと思いますね。でちなみになんですけど、そのクソ硬い指示を出しているコーチがポール・ヘレーラ選手さんなんですけども、知らないですよね。
知らないです。ポールさん。
じゃあこういったら分かります。昔の UFC の一番最初の方のゲイリー・グッドリッジがギを着て、とんでもないクルーシフィックスから相手の顔面を殴打して KO したの知ってます？見たことあります。ゲイリー・グッドリッジといえばすごいのがあるんですよ。もうこういうクルーシフィックスにしてガラ空きの顔面に肘を落として KO するっていう、その KO されたのがポールさんなんですよ。
そうなんですか。
この話を本人にするとすごい渋い顔されるんですけどね。
でアーチュレッタ選手なんですけど、結構大晦日の試合が終わってから残りましたよね。
残りましたね。多分日本人が行かないところにも行ってると思うんで。
日本は結構好きなんですかね。
日本がすごい好きだって言ってました。そもそも歴史だったり、戦争だったり何々の戦いっていうものを子供の頃からすごい興味持っていたらしくてですね。でそういうのが派生していって、そこからいろんな戦士の歴史を学ぶのがすごい好きになったらしいんですよ。それこそメソポタミアのアステカの戦士だったりとか、スペインの戦士たちではいわゆるその戦う人、戦士っていう職業をやっていた人に関しての文化と歴史をものすごい調べたらしいんですよね。ですのでそういうのを全部学んだ上で、彼の中では日本がやっぱ武術の生まれた国っていうふうに特別な、選手よりかは武術 が生まれた国で、自分が今身を置いているこの世界こそ日本で生まれたものというふうに思っているので、日本で戦えることに対してのモチベーションは今まで以上だと思います。はい、あとですね、多分今回は前回よりもさらにモチベーション高くてですね、その理由としては前回キム選手と戦ってるんですけども、今回井上選手ですよね、日本で日本人の相手、そして日本側で育てた日本のスターを倒して全部持っていこうとしたんです、そこが彼の今最大のモチベーションだと思います。
なるほど。よくMMA に興味を持つ人間は武術に興味を持つ、武術に興味を持つ人間はやっぱりね MMA にも興味を持つべきだったというふうに言う人もいますけれども、
そうですね、はい、
もうそれを本当に体現しているような選手。
そうですね。だから本当に彼は口で語らず背中で語るようなファイトスタイルっていうか、そのファイターとしてファイターはこうあるべきだと、口で語らずに行動で示すと。でそれを体現できるのが日本だって言ってますね。海外だとやっぱどうしてもこう喋ったりとかでかいこと言って注目を集めてプライズファイターにならなければいけないと、ただ日本だとマーシャルアーツとして自分は口も開かず行動で見せればリスペクトもらえると。
武士ですね。
そうですね。
ではこの後アーチュレッタ選手のお話を伺いたいと思います。柏木さんありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。
それではアーチュレッタ選手よろしくお願いいたします。まずはですね、格闘技を始めたきっかけ、何歳の時に何をきっかけにまず何から始めたのか教えてください。
Starting out, I have there's 7 siblings altogether. I fall on the 5th sibling. I have 4 older brothers that grew up wrestling. My dad wrestled his whole life. So my 4 older brothers, before I was born was wrestling. And I just fell in line with them. I started wrestling at a very young age. And I was on the wrestling match, learning to walk and learning to crawl at the same time, learning how to wrestle. So it was a very early age, about 3 years old.
そこから他に格闘技ってやっていくんですかね、レスリング以外にも。
My dad didn't allow us to do any boxing or any taekwondo or karate because he was nervous about, the head injuries that come along with the striking and the blows to the head. But I felt like wrestling was just as physical. Wrestling, you start on your feet all the way to the ground. And as I got older, I think I started when I was 26 years old with my first fight. That's when I started doing the grappling, the jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and boxing.
And you were 26 years old?
Yeah.
And you did wrestling, nothing but wrestling leading up to that point?
Yeah, nothing but wrestling. We come from the same kids club that Dan Henderson came from. Bill Henderson, who is his dad, he was our coach as a little kid.
26歳の時になぜいろんな格闘技を始めようと思ったら、柔術だったりとかムエタイとかボクシングとかやり始めたんですか？
Because wrestling came to its final stages in my college career. Wrestling in America is very difficult to make the Olympic and world team at my time because there was a lot of politics involved and it's very challenging. It takes a lot to do. And I've always, again, was fascinated with martial arts as an adolescent because of Dan Henderson and watching Pride throughout that time in the early 2000s, late 90s. It was just very captivating to me. It was something I wanted to do. I very much desired to do martial arts, and so when the time came where wrestling was over and I needed to transition either into the working field or into keep competing, my wife told me you should keep competing because you could work the rest of your life, but the competition is only going to be a short term of your life. So we chose to compete and keep pursuing martial arts.
なるほど。ということはもう本当にレスリング生活のその終盤にもう MMA ファイターになろうというふうに決めてたってことですね。
Yeah, there was no doubt. I've always been infatuated with, again, with martial arts and the combat warrior style in me. The history that I love about ancient warriors to now had always been my fascination.
お父さん、頭部へのダメージを与える競技反対だったんですけれども、お父さんは大丈夫だったんですか？ MMA ファイターになるときに。
He was at the time he was unsure. He said it's a hard way to make a living. It's easier to go to work and make money and But now, like, being able to give him the opportunity because he came to Japan for my last fight, and for me to gift that to him, he no longer sees it as a fight, now he sees it as a competition. And so for him to see and understand that it's a competition instead of a fight, I think he's more relaxed with it. Although my fight in Hawaii, I had got knocked out, and I never really processed like what he thought about that. Until my older brother asked me, he said, "Hey, did you ever ask Dad what he felt about you getting knocked out?" And I was like, "No, why would I ask that?" He's like, "I don't know. I just wondered how he felt." And then I put myself in that situation, like, man, if that was my kid, like, I would lose my mind. But, you know, I talked to him about it, and he said it's part of the sport now. You know, it's something that is your career. And so I'm glad that I could now be on a worldwide stage where my father can come into a place like Saitama Arena and have a crowd that's unbelievable, like packed, sold out, and watch me fight and entertain a crowd. Like, that's something I've always wanted to get from my father, and since I'm able to do that now, I'm honored and to represent my family, represent my last name that way.
アーチュレッタ選手というと武術とか武道、そこに興味を持っているっていうふうに聞いたこともあります。いつからそういう武道、武術に興味を持つようになったんですか？
At a very young age, watching my brothers compete. The first time I could remember actually being a spectator of my brothers and just being totally infatuated with it was my brother's my brother's freshman year in high school. He went to the state tournament, and he was one round away from making it to the finals, and he lost. And the devastation that I seen in his eyes, and the desire that wanting to be in the finals at a young age, where it was only at that time, it was either your fourth year in high school or your third year in high school, people were making the finals. So for him to come that close, it drew passion inside me, and I wanted to do everything I could to bring home a world title to my dad. And that from that day on, I knew that I was destined to be a champion. And I'm still to this day, I put everything that I can, so our name will never be forgotten.
MMA 始めた時、その26歳の時に入ったジムっていうのは今のジムですか？
I was at Cobra Kai, and that was ran by Joe Daddy Stevenson. That was in California.
High desert, right?
Yes.
その後ジムはどういうふうに移っていくんですか？
Over time, because Joe Daddy Stevenson had gone through some family situations, I had to do what was best for my career, and I started training with some of the world's best MMA fighters, and TJ Dillashaw and Cub Swanson, Brian Ortega, and I mean the list goes on. And so now we all live down in Orange County, where we train at Huntington Beach Ultimate Training Center, and that's under Tiki Gosen and Paul Herrera, where Rampage Jackson trains, and as well as Czech Congo. And you know, just recently we had Aljamain Sterling, Marab, Devaligish, and this guy JP from South Africa, who's in the UFC, also come in and train with us. So the group is growing, and we're becoming a solid foundation of a team that specializes in straight martial arts, and it's been amazing to see that process grow. And we have one of the world's best strength and conditioning nutritionist, Sam Calavita, at the training lab. That's why we all moved down here, because he leads the forefront of our camp and our recovery, our nutrition, our strength and conditioning, our supplementation, and it's been paying very good dividends.
ちなみにアーチュレッタ選手、お子さんの頃、子供の頃はどんなお子さんだったんですか？
I love to eat. I was a little fat, chubby kid that was, they always joked with me. My nickname was Bear, because when I would go to wrestling tournaments, I would lose my first two matches, and then my mom would find me underneath the stadium eating everyone's lunch and taking people's lunch and eating their food. So I was a troublemaker, and I used to, eat a lot, and so I was chubby. But then as I got older, I got more serious with my training and my wrestling. And then from junior high school all the way to high school, had really good grades and dedicated my life to wrestling.
一番いい成績レスリングでは何がありますか？
In wrestling, honestly, it's the coaching. I've still to this day coach at a high school and coach now coaching my kids who are starting to get into wrestling very heavily. But I've coached a lot of kids into state and national titles and even junior Olympic titles. And so that I feel has been me giving back to wrestling has been my greatest accomplishment with wrestling.
ということは格闘技以外にもやってる仕事っていうのはそういうコーチング他にもあったりしますか？
No, I actually that's one cool thing that I've never had to do was make money off coaching. Like we had Yui Susaki come out and I got to help her with her wrestling and give her some coaching advices on some of her wrestling. And it's just my passion. It's something that I've done at a young age. And here in America, we call wrestling the poor man's sport because it doesn't take a lot of money to wrestle like it does with American football, tennis, basketball, baseball. It's very cheap to wrestle. All you have to do is bring a good attitude and train hard. And it's similar to MMA, martial arts. Whatever you put into the sport is what you're going to get out. So the more you do and the more you train, the better results you will get. And so it doesn't, you don't make a ton of money doing it or coaching it, but it's seeing the people accomplish their goals is how you get paid.
そしてご家族の話もあったんですけれども、今のご家族の構成って結婚されてお子さんが何人いてというのを教えていただけますか？
Yeah, so I have 3 kids. I have my oldest son, he's 13 years old. My daughter is 9, and my youngest son is 7. And then my wife, who is obviously here with me. And then my little sister lives with me. She has a 10-year-old daughter, and then I have a nephew who is 3 years old. So we have a full house, and it's, family is everything for us. And whenever someone's in need, we always have an open door policy. And so we're a very tight-knit family. There's 7 of us, as far as brothers, and 6 boys and 1 girl. And then we're always training together. My nephews come, and I run them through wrestling practices. And it's just a very tight-knit family that I'm blessed to have.
ご家族は日本にいらっしゃるんですかね、試合の時。
It'll be me, my wife, and I believe my mom and dad as well.
で、レスリングは
all my brothers said that when I win this next fight, they're all going to come for the title fight. So they said that's motivation for me.
で、お子さん、そして、おいっ子さん、めいっ子さんも含めて、皆さんレスリングやってるんですか？
My 2 sons are, yes. We really started working with them when I got back from Japan because my oldest son is now 13 years old, so it's time for him to become a young man. And so we've been training with him a lot. And then my youngest son, he wanted to work just like him, so he's been doing practice with them every day. So yeah, they are on the road to being successful wrestlers as well.
アーチュレッタ選手、息抜きだったり趣味ってあったりするんですかね？
Oh yes, I love hunting. I go in the woods and we hunt elk and other deer and venison, and we also love to go off-roading. I have a off-roading vehicle that we take, and we go in the desert and in the mountains. We love to hike. We're outdoors family where we'll spend some time outdoors and just find nice trails. And pretty much we're a very active family and like to enjoy nature.
写真来てますね。
Just recently, my dad and my son, we went fishing and caught a bunch of yellowtail.
Yellowtail. カンパチ。
Yeah. And then this was all the fish we caught. Lots of fish.
That's nice.
さあ、そんな中ですね、次は井上直樹選手との対戦になりますけれども、井上直樹選手の印象を教えてください。
Inoue, is a very strong opponent. He's going to bring he's looking to make his name off a victory over me. And for me, I'm looking for immortality in the sport, and winning a crown in Japan is going to do that for me. So I know that this battle right here is for truly the title, because that's how strong I believe Inoue is with his technique and how good he is. He brings a lot of danger with how well-rounded he is as a martial artist. He's very fast. He tries to dictate the pace and tries to win every position on his feet. And he's very fast with his kicks. And so I have to be ready for that.
一緒に練習している仲間たちの中にアルジャメイン選手、それから、メラブ選手の名前がありましたけれども、井上直樹選手とはですね、セラロングファイトチームで同じということで、何か話あるいは情報は得たりしてますか？
No, I believe in an honoring code. When I train with someone, I never ask about their other teammates, just because it makes situations uncomfortable and it makes people not trust you. And so for me, I respect Inoue and his training and the way he practices. And I would never want to put someone in a jeopardizing position to ruin a friendship. So I never asked Aljamain and Merab, and they never told me what style of fighter that Inoue is. But again, practice is different from competition. I could watch competition, and if I were to go to practice with someone, it would be totally different from what they compete like. And I feel like that goes with all MMA fighters. It's okay to make mistakes in practice and get better, and that's how you get better. But when it comes to competition, there's a different type of competition you have to get ready for. So even if they did tell me something, it wouldn't help me for the fight, because I still have to be prepared for his speed, his timing, and the way he presents his technique. So even if I was to ask him, it would be insecurities on my part, that I'm fearful of what he's capable of, where he needs to be fearful of what I'm capable of, and he has to stop me first in order for him to dictate his offense.
今何をしたいかという話がありましたけれども、アーチュレッタ選手はどうこの戦い、井上選手との試合終わらせようと考えていますか？
Going into this fight, I want to put a bigger stamp than I did on my last fight, which is always an athlete's goal, is to perform better than the last time. I definitely want to showcase more of my martial artist skills on being able to control the whole fight and not lose any position. My ideal situation in this fight is to be perfect, is to go in there, hit and not get hit, find the takedowns, take him down, control, show some ground and pound, and when he gets back up to his feet, is continue to press forward and give the fans what they're there to see, is an entertaining fight. And me personally, I love going 15 minutes. I love going the whole fight, because you get to know someone when you're in a personal combat situation with them. Like me and Sucho Kim, those are 15 minutes of our lives that we spent together that no one would be able to experience with him unless they fought him. And same with Inoue, like I want to know him as a fighter. I want to know him in a scramble and just the full combat. I get excited about that. That's what drives me to continue to do this sport, is to see how good can I really control someone, to see how better that I am than someone. And Inoue brings this type of style that's fast, it's young, it's hungry, and that's what I'm excited about, to see if I'm still fast and I'm still that young, hungry lion that could step into a cage and continue to take out people younger than me. And that's what drives me to go forward into these fights and makes me excited, because this is a nervous fight for me, and I believe it's a harder fight, this fight, than it was with the Sucho Kim, just because I believe Inoue is a lot faster with his kicks, and he's a lot more versatile with scrambling and his takedowns from what I've seen. But he does crack under pressure, and that's what I bring. I bring a pressure cooking fight where I'm going to keep pushing until someone breaks, and if they don't break, we let the judges decide it out after that.
そして前回ですね、RIZINでは入場が非常に注目されていました。また入場、今回どういった形の演出を考えていらっしゃいますか？
It's going to be a surprise. I know for me, I get to be an American. I have different cultures that are make who I am. And so, you know, that side of me was, from my mom's side, was the Mexican or the Native American culture of mine. So now I'm going to bring in more of my father's side of the Spanish side, which I was really impressed to see a lot of Spanish culture in Japan. A lot of Spanish flags and restaurants were there. So it makes me excited to bring that type of culture in as well and make an impact and, you know, show fans what it truly is to be an American, and that's the diversity of culture, which is cool for me because I don't get to choose who I am, but I get to choose to represent that. And that's what I'm most excited about, is to choose that I get to be proud of who I am and what makes me. So I'm definitely going to be showing my Spanish side of my family on this walkout.
それではですね、現時点でこのファイターとしての目標を教えていただけますか。
Right now, it's what it's always been, to win a belt in every promotion that I fight for. And so far, I have accomplished that besides one, and that's RIZIN. I fought for RIZIN, and now I get the opportunity to try to make my way into a title fight. And that's the legacy I'm going to leave in my martial arts career, is that every organization I fought for, I won a world title for. And I'm looking forward to do that for Japan.
人生の目標は何でしょう。
To give back, to tell everyone my story, and hopefully it impacts the people that it needs to impact. I feel like right now, my calling is in Japan, and I got to bring back the old style of martial arts, the honor, the respect, and you know, it's something that's been on my heart and something that's calling me there. And I feel like a warrior's path is always intercrossing and going through different routes, and even though you have a vision set, there's always a detour that happens. And right now my detour is in Japan, and I couldn't be more blessed because, again, this is the mother of where the sport has came from, and I'm honored to be able to come back to that and lay my roots there, and hopefully one day impact it enough where, if need be, and this is where I lay my hat down, and this is the promotion that ends that I could end my career at, I'd like to impact the Japanese martial arts and bring in my martial arts there, and give exposure to the young up-and-coming martial artists that are looking for that exposure or that next step of getting better, and I could be able to coach those guys into the next level.
さあ、それでは最後に、ファンの皆さんへメッセージをお願いいたします。
To all my fans out there, I want to thank you so much for your love and support. I wouldn't be here without you guys. I'm looking forward to this fight and putting on another beautiful performance for you guys. I will bring this title back, and I will take it across Japan and let you guys experience it like I did with my Bellator belt. I can't wait to see you guys. I can't wait to eat with you guys. I'm looking forward to performing for you guys. It's going to be a true honor, and I can't wait. And lastly, it's RIZIN 42. Don't forget to show up in person, and I believe some tickets are still available. So go pick them up right now, because you're not going to want to miss this fight. This is by far going to be the most entertaining fight on the card. Naoku Inoue brings a high-paced fight. I bring a high-paced fight, and it's going to be a true fan favorite. So I can't wait.
はい、ありがとうございます。では最後にちょっと記念撮影というか写真を撮らせてください。
For the camera, please.
はい。
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It's all good. We needed to promote, so let's get it. If you guys need anything else from me too, don't hesitate to ask.
なんかインスタのフォローしてくれてありがとうございます、僕の。
Oh, yes.
Thank you. ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございます。
いや、アーチュレッタ選手素晴らしいファイターですね。ご家族のことを聞いても、過去の話を聞いても、それから戦っている時の感覚の話を聞いてもですね、どれも魅力が詰まってました。まさに虹色の魅力を持つ男、ファイターですね。本当はですね、もっともっと深掘りしていきたかったんですけれども、時間の関係上ですね、これが限界でした。この後またチャンスがあればですね、アーチュレッタ選手のお話を伺えればなというふうに思います。多分話聞いてたらあっという間に時間が過ぎてしまいますし、なかなか足りることはないんじゃないかなっていうくらい、それだけ魅力の詰まったファイターだというふうに実感しました。井上直樹選手との戦い、皆さんより楽しみになったのではないでしょうか。 ぜひアーチュレッタ選手の戦い、ファイトに期待してください。鈴木芳彦のデプスインタビュー。今回はファンアーチュレッタ選手の人物像を深く掘り下げました。今後もRIZINに関係するファイターや関係者たちをこの番組で紹介していきますので、ぜひ楽しみにしていてください。格闘技のゴールデンウィークを締めくくる5月6日開催RIZIN42有明アリーナ大会のチケットは絶賛発売中です。会場に来られないという方々はですね、ぜひペーパービューで全試合ライブ配信をお楽しみください。バンタム級の王座を狙うファイターたちがぶつかり合うRIZIN42有明アリーナ大会を一緒に楽しみましょう。